Xuanwu was an emperor of the Xianbei dynasty of Northern Wei. He is known within China as Beiwei Xuanwudi. He was born Tuoba Ke, but later changed his surname so that he became Yuan Ke. During Xuanwu's reign, Northern Wei appeared, outwardly, to be at its prime, but there was much political infighting and corruption, particularly by Xuanwu's uncle Gao Zhao. Xuanwu was an avid Buddhist and often personally lectured on the Buddhist sutras. During his reign, Buddhism effectively became the state religion. Background: Tuoba Ke was born in 483, as the second son of Emperor Xiaowen. His mother was Xiaowen's concubine consort, Gao Zhao. Little is known about his childhood, including whether he was raised by his mother Gao or not. In 496, Xiaowen changed the name of the imperial clan from Tuoba to Yuan, and thereafter he would be known as Yuan Ke. In fall 496, Yuan Zun, who was then crown prince, but who could not endure the hot weather of the capital Luoyang after Xiaowen moved the capital from Pingchang in 494, plotted to flee back to Pingchang with his followers, but his plot was discovered. Xiaowen deposed him, and in 497 created Yuan Ke crown prince to replace Yuan Zun. Later that year, Gao, who was in Pingcheng, traveled south to rejoin her son in Luoyang, but she died on the way. Historians generally believe that she was murdered by Xiaowen's wife, Empress Fen Run, who wanted to raise Yuan Ke herself. Whether she was actually able to do so is unclear, but after she was discovered to have carried on an affair with her attendant Gao Pusa in 499, she was put under house arrest, and Xiaowen ordered Yuan Ke to have no more contact with her. Later in 499, Xiaowen, while on a campaign against rival Southern Qi, grew ill and died. Xiaowen's brother Yuan Xie, the Prince of Pengchang, was put into command of the withdrawing army on an emergency basis, and Yuan Xie kept Xiaowen's death a secret while summoning Yuan Ke to join the army. Yuan Ke's attendants largely suspected Yuan Xie of wanting to take the throne himself, but Yuan Xie, once he met Yuan Ke, showed great deference to Yuan Ke, convincing Yuan Ke of his loyalty. Yuan Ke, at age 16, then took the throne as Xuanwu at Luoyang, before the army could return to Luoyang. Early reign: Xuanwu initially wanted to make Yuan Xie, who was popular and well-regarded, prime minister, but Yuan Xie refused, and was made a provincial governor instead. The governmental affairs were largely in the hands of 6 officials: Xiaowen's brothers Yuan Shi, the Prince of Shanyang, and Yuan Xiang, the Prince of Beihai; Xiaowen's cousin Yuan Chang, the Prince of Rencheng; Xiaowen's distant uncle Yuan Ji, the Prince of Guangyang; and the officials Wang Su and Song Bian. Although Yuan Chang was soon stripped of his post because he falsely arrested Wang on suspicion of treason. By 500, Xuanwu recalled Yuan Xie to be prime minister. Xuanwu, once he returned to Luoyang, posthumously honored his mother Gao as an empress, and he created his maternal uncles Gao Zhao and Gao Zhan, as well as his cousin Gao Meng, none of whom he had previously met. Dukes, Gao Zhao, in particular, became increasingly powerful during Xuanwu's reign. In 500, with southern Qi in disarray because of the tyrannical rule of its emperor Xiaobei, Northern Wei annexed the important city of Shouyang when the southern Qi general Pei Shuye surrendered the city to Northern Wei in fear of adverse actions by Xiaobei. However, Northern Wei did not take further actions when Southern Qi was subsequently thrown into civil war during the rebellions of the generals Sui Weijing and Xiao Yan. In 501, the general Yuan Xiang warned Xuanwu that Yuan Qi was growing corrupt and Yuan Xie was growing too popular, and suggested that they be relieved of the posts. Xuanwu did so, and formally personally took over governmental matters, but at his age, he could not actually properly handle governmental affairs himself, so his trusted attendants and Gao Zhao began to become more powerful and corrupt. Traditional historians generally regard this as the starting point of Northern Wei's decline. Late in 501, Yuan Qi, displeased that his power was being stripped and fearful that he would be killed, plotted a rebellion to secede with the provinces south of the Yellow River. His plot was discovered, however, and he was executed. From this point on, Xuanwu grew increasingly suspicious of members of the imperial clan. Later in 501, Xuanwu created Yu Li's niece, consort Yu, empress. Later that year, with Xiao Yan's forces crushing Xiao Baojuan's, Xuanwu's general Yuan Ying suggested that a major attack be launched against Southern Qi to take advantage of Southern Qi's civil war. However, Xuanwu only authorized small-scale attacks, which were generally fruitless. Xiao Yan soon defeated Xiao Baojuan and by 502 had overthrown Southern Qi and established Liang dynasty as its emperor Wu. The Liang general Xianbei subsequently tried to surrender Jiang province to Northern Wei, but Liang forces defeated both Chen and the Northern Wei forces sent to reinforce him, and Chen fled to Northern Wei. For the next few years, however, there would continually be war between the two rivals, particularly with Northern Wei creating Southern Qi's Prince Xiao Baoyan, who fled Southern Qi as Xiao Yan was beginning to kill members of the Southern Qi imperial clan, as the Prince of Qi, and announcing that it would help him re-establish Southern Qi. In 504, Shan Qiang, who had taken over Yuan Zai's posts, was accused by Gao Zhao of corruption. He was demoted to commoner rank, and died soon thereafter. At Zhao's suggestion, and despite Yuan Xie's opposition, Xuanwu subsequently put the imperial princes under heavy guard, effectively putting them under house arrest. Meanwhile, the wars with Liang continued, and while both sides had gains and losses, Northern Wei made a substantial gain in 505 when the Liang general Xiao Daoqian surrendered Nanjing, as well as the surrounding region, to Northern Wei, which further annexed the semi-independent state Juqi in spring 506. In winter 505, Liang launched a major counterattack on the eastern part of the border, commanded by Emperor Wu's brother Xiao Hong, the Prince of Linchuan. But with Xiao Hong being an incompetent general who mishandled a night terror situation in summer 506 while his army was at Luokou, the Liang forces collapsed by themselves without engaging Northern Wei forces. Yuan Ying and Xiao Baoyan followed up by attacking the Liang fortress Zhongli, but were dealt a crushing defeat by the Liang general Wei Rui in spring 507. The two states largely stopped the military activities against each other after that point. In winter 507, Empress Yu died suddenly, and in early 508, her young son Yuan Chang, Xuanwu's only son by that point, died suddenly as well, because Gao Zhao was exceeding powerful by that point, and his niece consort Gao was Xuanwu's favorite concubine. It was largely suspected that Gao Zhao and Gao murdered them, but there was no conclusive proof. In 508, Xuanwu created created Gao as empress to replace Yu, despite opposition by Yuan Xie, and from this point on Gao Zhao became resentful of Yuan Xie. Late reign. In fall 508, Xuanwu's younger brother Yuan Yu, the Prince of Jingzhou, who had just been demoted by Xuanwu for corruption, became angry at both his demotion and that his favorite consort Lady Li had been severely battered by Empress Yu briefly before Empress Yu's death, declared a rebellion at his provincial post of Shindu and proclaimed himself emperor. Gao Zhao used this opportunity to falsely accuse Yuan Xie of acting in concert with both Yuan Yu into joining his rebellion and Liang dynasty. Xuanwu believed Gao and forced Yuan Xie to commit suicide. The populace and the officials greatly mourned Yuan Xie's death, and grew increasingly resentful of Gao. Soon, Yuan Yu's rebellion was defeated, and while Xuanwu contemplated not putting Yuan Yu to death, Yuan Yu was killed on Jiao's orders. In 510, Xuanwu's concubine consort Yu gave birth to a son, Yuanzu. Because Xuanwu had lost multiple sons in childhood by that point, he carefully selected several experienced mothers to serve as Yuan Xu's wet nurses, and disallowed both Gao and Hu from seeing him. In winter 512, Xuanwu created Yuanzu crown prince and, abolishing the Northern Wei custom that the crown prince's mother must be forced to commit suicide, he did not force Hu to commit suicide. During these years, Northern Wei and Liang continued to have relatively minor border battles, with each side having gains and losses. In 514, however, Xuanwu commissioned Gao Zhao to launch a major attack against Liang's Yi province. Soon thereafter, however, in spring 515, he died suddenly, and Yuanzu succeeded him. Yuan Cheng, Xuanwu's brother Yuan Yong, the prince of Gaoyang, and Yu Li's son Yu Zhong seized power and, after recalling Gao, put him to death, and Gao was removed. Xiao Ming's mother, who became Empress Dowager and regent. Burial. Xuanwu was buried north of Luoyang. His tomb is now open to the public as part of the Luoyang Ancient Tombs Museum. Era names: Jingming 500 to 503, Zhengxi 504 to 508, Yongping 508 to 512, Janchang 512 to 515. Personal information: Father Emperor Shaowen of Northern Wei, Mother Consort Gao Zhaorong, posthumously honored as Empress Wenzhao. Wives: Empress Yu, mother of Prince Chang; Empress Gao Ying, mother of Princess Jian and an unnamed son. Major concubines: Consort Hu, mother of Crown Prince Zhu. Children: Yuan Chang, Yuan Zhu, the Crown Prince, later Emperor Xiaoming of Northern Wei, unnamed son, died early. Princess Tai Yuan, Princess Jian, Princess Yangping.